After Sambering in Sao Paulo, it's time for mayhem in Mexico. The ABB FIA Formula E World Championship kicks in for the 10th time here in Mexico. Welcome to the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez for round 2, season 11. Mitch Evans is our championship leader, 25 points. Antonio Feliz da Costa on 18. Taylor Barnard has 15. Sam Bird on 12. Eduardo Mortara has 10. It's 9 for NATO, 6 for De Vries, Buemi on 4, Verline 3, Ticktum on 2. In the team's championship, Neil McLaren have 27 points. They're 2 clear to Jaguar TCS Racing, who are 3 clear to Tag Heuer Porsche. Mahindra have 16, 9 for Nissan, 4 for Envision. It's 2 for Cooper Cairo, and then DS Penske only have 1. No points for Maserati, Lola, or Andretti. And in the Manufacturers' Championship, Jaguar leading that brilliantly to Nissan in second, 31-27. Porsche have 22 with Mahindra on 18. Stellantis has 3, Lola still on 0.
Hello and welcome to the Formula E qualifying for Mexico City. I'm Megan Birch, obviously, because I've been on this channel a lot. I'm joined by Ed Hunter, and then JT is in the background sorting out all the technological side of things. Hello.
Hey. Well, good to be back, and first qualifying session of 2025. Bring it on, I say.
Woohoo! Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with how a Formula E qualifying works, because it's a little bit complicated when you first see it, after you cover it. It is when you cover it for the first time, or like watch it first time. There's 2 groups split up into 11 each, who then the top 4 from each group go into four duels against each other, and then into the semi-finals for those who win the duels, and then finally into the final for the pole position. So it's quite fun, to be honest. Basically, who's fastest, and I love the graphics of it all.
Yeah, and it was sort of introduced a couple of years ago because there used to be more of a group format where everyone got split into 4 groups, and that sort of ended up deciding the group. But the problem was, if you were in the later groups, the track was in much better condition. If they just split them into 2 groups, 11 cars in each, it's a lot more even.
It is.
And a bit more fair as well. So the duels are sort of one-on-one, one-lap shootouts, which is great. Reminds me of the old used to have a super pole in Formula in the early seasons, which was the top 5 would fight out for pole position from main qualifying. But anyway, we can actually see Group A on screen at the moment. Mitch Evans, Taylor Barnard, Eduardo Mortara, Sebastian Buemi, Pascal Wehrlein, Stoff Van Dorn, Zane Maloney, Oliver Rowland, David Beckman, Lucas de Grassi, and Nico Muller. So Evans, of course, having won last time out, and Taylor Barnard with that first podium, obviously the 2 highest in the championship. But someone like Mortara could well spring a surprise here. And don't forget Pascal Wehrlein, who of course crashed out, was on pole position last time out as well. So certainly Wehrlein has got to be one of the favourites here, because Porsche seem to be working well, and he loves his place as well. High track evolution on driving surface is what we're hearing from the virtual race engineer, which makes sense. It's been his historic track characteristic, where the track just ramps up the more rubber that gets laid down, especially after the rain we saw in FP2.
And we have gone green for the Group A. Almost was an unsafe release there. It was from one of the blue cars. That would be Van Dorn.
That'd be Maserati then, yeah.
The only one of the thing. Only blue.
Yeah, well, the only purely dark blue, I guess Buemi and the Envision is sort of green and blue. Yeah. And then we got the blue and yellow Lola Yamahas. So the yellow's for Lola and the blue's for Yamaha, as I understand it. Yeah. But yeah, this should be interesting because, of course, we've got Taylor Barnard, who didn't qualify very well in Sao Paulo. We got Evans, who didn't qualify at all because the car shut down. We'll be hoping to get a bit further in this session. And then Oliver Rowland looking to really fight back. He's a great qualifier, infamously in Formula E. He's got a number of pole positions to his name, including, wasn't he was on pole for Tokyo last season as well. One in London and Misano as well for Nissan. So Oliver Rowland has got to be another one of the favourites, along with Verline and Evans in this session, in my opinion. But also be interested to see how Nico Muller gets on, because he didn't really felt like he didn't really get off to his season off to the best possible start in Sao Paulo.
Well,
and the Andretti, which the Porsche powered car, should be much more competitive than the Apt Cupra that he's had to deal with the last couple of seasons with the Mahindra powertrain.
Yeah. Well, I've just identified him, like when I was looking on the screen, as the other person involved in the unsafe release. So let's hope no one pulls him up on it.
Oh, I'm just looking at the group qualifying 8. It says wet track at the bottom on my screen from the FI. That's the last message. So that seems to be a bit outdated because the sun is very much shining here.
Yeah, and the track looks much drier than it was in free practice.
Track is wet but grimy.
Ah, okay. So there's a couple of damp patches here and there, sort of there. You can see offline at turn 3, for instance.
Oh,
Grassy.
A bit damp, but overall dry line. Only a few damp patches.
so basically what we were saying.
That was my verdict too. Yeah. But to be fair, it's a lot harder to see when you're in the cockpit. You're sort of going by how it feels when you're putting spinning up the rear tyres, whether they grip or not. Crucial to have tyres in window at session end. So of course that's the operating temperature window. You don't want them to be too hot because then they're overheating and just spinning wildly. You don't want them to be too cold because then you've got a similar thing where there's just low friction essentially. So you want them to be nice and hot, gripping to the surface, and giving you plenty of grip so you can hold a higher speed through the corners without losing traction.
Got the first times coming in now. Where we're currently at the top with a 1:22.854. Obviously, those are just the opening times, so might get a lot faster.
Yeah, the whole group has decided to just go on a very slow opening run, just to explore the circuit a bit and get rid of some of the standing water.
It's like, where's the damp patches in this?
There's one of the benefits of having the all-weather tyres as well, is that they can actually clear that, whereas if they were on slicks, they'd just be avoiding it. They just have no grip whatsoever.
You can see where
The problem now is they're all so bunched together, aren't they, Megan? You've got this pack with Verline and Muller and I think Degrassi holding up on much. Then you've got Roland, who's got the track all to himself at the front. So this has worked out well for Oliver.
Am I the only one who could not understand Roland there?
That wasn't Roland, that was his race engineer saying,
Oh.
push cool. We need to do 3 laps where we push and then we cool the tyres down. So that is fascinating to me.
So he's
That shows you that these soft tyres are quite temperamental at getting them into the right temperature window where they perform at their best.
So when he does the most, he's going to try and do like a 1 lap thing near the end.
One push lap and then cool down. That tells you they're staying out. They put plenty of energy in that car, of course. So there's no weight penalty for doing so, unlike with fuel in a Formula Oneers. Here we go. It looks like Roland not. Yeah, Boemi set a 1:22.8 on his first lap. Roland has just set a 1:25. So maybe, yeah, looks like he's slowing down a bit now.
Mortaro's just set his 1:22.69 at 5. So
yeah, they're a little bit off the pace they were doing in practice, aren't they? Because they were in the sort of well, obviously when I'm in at FP1 yesterday, where they were in the sort of 21s, and they were in the 21s, I'm pretty sure, at the top.
So they
the
must be
Mortaro
still
1:22.6, as you say.
They must be still exploring all the options for the track and where they can go.
Well, I mean, it only really goes one way, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, but we're on the track.
If there's a car set up, they would have had to get that locked in before this session, really. Because you don't really want to be setting up the car in the middle of qualifying.
Where they can,
there's all those bollards on the exit at the Ferrosol Stadium that Roland just passed there. They can be really vicious. Degrassi's actually purple in the middle sector there, so Lola working well here in the Brazilian town. So some of that experience coming to the fore. Van Dorn has also gone fastest now, so we are sort of seeing times flying, and it looks like Degrassi is about to come through now, and this is looking like a potential fastest lap of the session so far. Looking into the 1:19s here. Yeah, there we go. 2.3 seconds faster, and it's both Lolas on top.
Okay, we're slowly getting the times getting better now as well.
And there's Barnard.
What can Barnard do?
Yes, this is a quite extreme track evolution. Yeah, Mortara goes 2 seconds faster than Barnard there.
Okay,
117.9.
They're definitely doing better right now then.
Yeah, they're certainly, this is the benefit of also going up to full power modes as well, although they don't get to do that until the duels, of course. So this is a sort of their what they can do without the four-wheel drive, essentially.
Yeah. In the pits, Barometers, why are you wasting what little time you have in the pit lane? Is there something wrong?
Don't know. I think it might also be that he just set a time early on, and then he's going to come back out later, potentially. Could be that they are changing the tyres. This is what they talked about in practice. We'll switch to a scrub set of tyres, maybe. Yeah, that was what they were talking about doing it at the end of practice, too.
Oh, so he's doing it here.
Verline, fastest in the first sector.
Evans
Well,
is
Maloney...
still
just beaten by Verline. Yeah, 116.3. So, and then Evans has actually set that. So it was Verline 116.5. So there you go. They are just pumping in the tires. Evans was really quick in that middle sector there.
Ooh, Van Dorn almost hit the wall. Though surprisingly, his sector 1 is a purple, so I'll give him that. He's allowed at least one mistake for the purple.
The guy's driving out of his skin, and he's like, oh, well, you need to hit the wall, so it can't be that quick. Somebody else has gone faster, though, in that first sector. So, yeah, the track's just evolving all the time, and it's just going to be... Everyone is going to want to be out there right at the end, and Buemi has rejoined the track now as well. So I think he's done exactly what I thought he was going to do, which is switch to another set of tyres that he thinks will perform better. Look how much Van Dorn is struggling behaving through the Peraltada, as Muller is fastest in the first sector, Roland fastest in the middle sector.
So it looks like he might get kicked out by Roland.
And Nissan looks like a handful.
Let's see how Roland does round the corner. And it...
Oh, I had to get crossed up there
Yeah.
just to get it right. But it's fastest by 0.6 again. So the times are just tumbling down. 1:15.7 now. So, yeah, we're getting close to the sort of 1:14 territory if at this rate.
Honestly, yeah. I think the track is definitely getting better.
Mortara getting held up here by Degrassi. Don't have to go third fastest, so he got a little bit of a toe there, but I think he was getting really held up through the Peraltada, and Degrassi refuses to let him through because I think he's starting his lap. And here comes that Barnard going through the final corner now.
Probably could have got
and he's
second
only
if
9th
he wasn't,
fastest.
Like,
The Barnard's about 3 seconds off the pace, so let's hope that wasn't a push lap.
hopefully not.
I think it was because he's just slowed right to a crawl now.
Oh, that's not good.
So 2.5 minutes to go. Roland, Evans, Mortara, Verline is your top 4 going through to the duels, and being last to start the final lap is advantageous. I did think that. But yeah, I think that's what Envision are banking on, why Buemi has gone back out so late, relatively late in the session, whereas everyone else has decided to run continuously. But they've been effectively doing all the sweeping aside all the dampness and muck at the side of the track for Buemi to say, right, I'll sweep in now and potentially get into the duels here.
You know, I think the track is becoming so dry that I'm pretty sure I just saw dust or something like that. Something.
Oh, Maloney and Buemi there, second fastest, right behind Roland, and now Verline lowers the bar yet again, 1:15.0. So we are very close to 1:14 territory then, as Muller goes second now as well.
Who do you reckon might actually get into the 1:14s? Oh, definitely.
Ooh. Definitely not David Beckman.
Yeah, definitely not.
Hope he keeps driving like that. Yeah, but he's kicked up all the leaves that's on the runoff out of turn 1 that dropped from the trees over there. But yeah, I wonder if one of the Lola apps can maybe sneak through. No, not Lola app. Lola Yamaha apps can sneak through here. Evans also a little bit on the bubble here as well. I think he would want to be a bit closer at this phase to Verline's time.
One of those trap map things. Also, I'm pretty sure some of the drivers' tires are like degrading. I feel. It's not all of them though.
We do have a question in the chat. Let me actually just go over there. 10 people watching at the moment. Oh no, I've got Nikki. So Nikki says, "Hi guys. Who did he put in the predictor?" I didn't put anyone because I've had all sorts of other things to worry about today. Because my dad, who's like, "Oh, I've got this old AVI file of like a trip to what was it, Normandy or something, and I want you to, if for some reason when I try and convert it so I can mess around with it in iMovie, it chops off some of the aspect ratio, so I want you to convert it properly." It's like, I've got like hours and hours of commentary to do. I don't know how I'm supposed to fit that in today. This is a real pain in the backside. As Evans goes fastest, 114.8.
There's another. What have I missed in FP2 and QA? You haven't missed much. Basically, everyone's trying to find their ground in where the wet patches are, and really, I think it's the duels that you've got to stay in with.
Checking flag out.
I've got to write down who's where.
Yeah, here we go then. So last lap for Van Dorn. This is really important. He's down in 9th at the moment. Needs to try and get that DS-powered Maserati into the top 4 here. Muller is the time to beat, currently 4th at the moment. And Van Dorn can only go to 8th ahead of David Beckman there. So, yeah, he's about a second off the pace there. Big shame there. So, yeah, Pico. FP2 was wet, so you didn't see any particularly quick times. Jake Hughes was fastest in FP2. And yeah, qualifying A has really, like Megan said, everyone has sort of been waiting to be last across the line and sort of warming the track for each other, or drying it up at least a little bit. Roland fastest in the middle sector. Buemi having his final run to the line now in 6th, and he goes fastest. 114.6, I think, there. And Roland beats it instantly by going to 10th and 0.7 faster. Verline fastest in the first and final sectors. So he sets the fastest time. DeGrassi, four-wheel drifting it through the final corner, and he's still holding up Eduardo Mortara. Towards the line they go. Neither of them go any faster, so I think that's it then, because Nico Muller's in the pit. So it's Verline, Roland, Buemi, and Evans that have made it through to the duels.
Woohoo! Right, I'm going to write that down in my little notes thing that Joshua's left me.
Is it called a notepad, perchance?
No, it's just a piece of paper.
All right. There we go. Verline very much in command on top, so no surprises there. I think Buemi getting through is quite surprising. Of course, he did in Season 10, he finished, I think, second in that particular race after having a very good qualifying. So Buemi does tend to go quite quick here. But yeah, certainly Pascal Verline has sort of been the one making a name for himself the past couple of seasons here. But yeah, no, in the end, no big surprises, but a couple of people got I think Mortara, DeGrassi and company got pretty close to breaking in there, but just ended up holding each other up. So I think Mortara in particular is going to be very annoyed at Lucas DeGrassi there, his former teammate at the Venturi team, of course.
Yeah, I'm actually very surprised at Buemi in how he managed to pull that off.
Yeah, but it was quite clever. It's like I said, he had some scrub tires that he was waiting to put on at the right moment there, and ended up playing absolutely into his favor.
It really did. Almost done writing down the people. I'm trying to use my nicest handwriting as well. Well, my second nicest handwriting. Because,
I mean, you're the one that's got to look at it, so that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I have a thing where I actually have so many different handwritings that sometimes I'll be writing something and then I'll change handwriting subconsciously throughout the middle of it. People always get so confused. It's like, did you get someone else to do this? I was like, no, I just have like strange handwriting. I can go cursive to normal to quick speed. You know, my natural handwriting is actually like has an element of cursive because I taught myself cursive a few years ago.
Yeah. I'm going to oh, no, the times are gone. I was just about to read them out, what the times were in the session, but I'm afraid they have gone. I think it was 114.6 for Pascal Verline, then Roland or Buemi, and then Evans. I can't remember which order. And then it was Mortara, DeGrassi, Van Dorn, Beckman, and Maloney, I think, in that order, roughly, from memory.
I've got it all written down here from the Group A thing.
Oh, you've got it written down. Okay, right, you read it out in the exact. Oh, you haven't got the exact times written down.
I haven't got the times, but I've got the people. I've got Verline, Roland, Buemi, Evans going through into the Jules. Mortara, Maloney, Muller, Beckman, Van Dorn, Degrassi, Barnard.
And is Buemi actually going through? Because he's under investigation for a technical infraction. So could that be the fact that he has something to do with him going into the pits mid-session to change tyres? Maybe in the process he broke some kind of rule there. But anyway, here's Group B about to get going. So it's a second in the championship downwards. So that's Antonio Felix da Costa, Sam Bird, Nick De Vries, Dan Ticktum, John Eric Verne, Maximilian Gimpfer, Norman Nato, Nick Cassidy, Jake Dennis, Jim Hughes, and Robin Friends.
Ooh.
Yeah, Robin Friends has still yet to set any racing laps at all this season because he had to be withdrawn from the grid. And now we've got the other Envision under investigation. So Envision have really had all the technical gremlins so far this season. In fact, Jaguar as well. So you've got to worry about that Jaguar powertrain. It's really efficient. It's really quick. But those gremlins in there, there's a real spanner in the works they've all got to deal with. Buemi, despite getting through the duels, looks a little bit cagey, and he's trying to run away from the cameraman here.
Just like, don't see. Oh, and the time's already started. So, shall I put the radio mic on? Get the background, even though we're not. Yeah. We can hear the slight thing a bit. No, there we go. It's come up now. And, ooh, that's a bit of advertising, I think.
It's turned into the sponsored by Formula E zone. Advertising is it? Oh, there we go. There's some lovely advertising. The PIF logo. You can imagine exactly how I feel about that being plastered everywhere. Hey ho. Looks like Degrassi and Mortara also. It's a Degrassi under investigation for impeding Mortara, as I pointed out. So yeah, that could be Degrassi losing a couple of spots on the grid, and I think deservedly so, because he absolutely refused to get out of Mortara's way, even when he'd finished. He wasn't on a hot lap there.
Hold on.
Group A classification with times, I've found it. Verline 114.610, Roland 47 thousandths behind, Remy 0.2 of a second behind, 0.221, Evans 0.281. The Jules time was a 114.891, then Mortara 0.224 behind the Jules time, 0.545 for Maloney, 0.714 back for Muller, and then 1.149 seconds back on 114.891 for Beckman, 1.349 for Van Dorn, 3.160 for Degrassi, and 4.3 seconds exactly for Taylor Barnard.
Yeah, really tough qualifying for Taylor Barnard. We just saw a picture of him there in the Group B session, just with his helmet off, looking just a little bit disheveled and slightly sort of like maybe there was more time to get out of that car there. But of course, he is a rookie. He's only done a couple of races, and he tends to race a lot better than he qualifies, as we saw in Sao Paulo. Admittedly, some red flags helped him out in the mix there. But yeah, Taylor Barnard looking a bit up against it, and really the only Nissan Power car so far that's lit up the timing sheets has been Oliver Rowland. But let's see what Sam Bird can do in the Sister McLaren in this session.
I do not know where the blog page is, because it has to change it something, but I don't know where it is.
On the main Formula E website. Should be.
I don't. Hold on.
I'd link you to it, but I had to unplug my keyboard to get my webcam in, so yeah, I'm afraid that. Anyway, looks like, of course, both DS Penske's in this session. They look pretty strong in the mixed conditions of FP2, but it's going to be interesting to see if they can maintain that here in qualifying Group B. Everybody weaving, just trying to get some tyre temperature in before they start doing their push laps. So it's exactly the same rhythm we saw in the first session.
Oh.
Different.
Third.
Okay, so towards the end of this lap, make sure we have a good space.
So that tells us McLaren are going to do two, sort of the out lap, then a warm-up lap, and then the push.
I've been told not to break anything, which knowing me I would. I am no good with technology at all. It must have, I feel like Joshua must have got all the genes for that.
I don't think it's a genetic thing. I think it's
well, he
you sort of spend a lot of time around it, you learn how to use it, right?
Yeah, but I feel like Joshua just gets frustrated with me doing it, so I learn nothing. I just leave it to him.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like,
I think when you get told off enough, you sort of get discouraged from getting involved. Is this Evans? No, which track is this? That's Cassidy, isn't it? That I think is just going around the track at the moment.
it's because I don't
As
know
we
the
see-
names of things.
Again?
I don't know the names of things, like certain leads, so it's very hard to teach me.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't know because I've never been around your house, so I think you've got a slightly better chance than me. Yeah, this first part of the session is really difficult to commentate on because the times almost don't matter because the track's still evolving,
Yeah, like
and
the
everyone's
last-
just waiting for that. And
last
Norman
few
Nato's in the
minutes.
pits. He's doing almost exactly what we saw Buemi do in the first session.
So they've seen match strategy and decided, you know what, that's for us.
Yeah, that's we'll have to wait and see what the decision is regarding the investigations. Laps 5 and 7 deleted for car 16, Buemi. So I think that might have altered the who got through into the duels there.
Oh, it might have.
Because I think lap 7 was Buemi's last lap there, which was the one that got him into second in the group.
I think it was.
All right.
Suppose we'll see.
So who was behind Evans then in that session? Would it be Muller, I think, potentially being
Mortara.
pulled up there?
Mortara's
Mortara,
behind
okay.
Evans.
Interesting. So Mortara's gone from just missing out because Degrassi held him up to all of a sudden he's back in the game. So
Ooh, I
potentially.
wonder what will happen there.
Oh,
You
Brian's
watch.
really having to hope
watch.
that the traffic gets out of his way in time there as he lights up the timing screen. And that looks like a first proper sort of flying lap 114.1 for Robin Frines there, because he's had so much bad luck at this circuit over the years, but his qualifying here has actually been generally quite strong. Like, he broke his hand here in season 9. Season 10 he crashed out after falling back after a strong qualifying. So yeah, he really is looking for some redemption here, and so far he's certainly set a strong first lap.
I'm just thinking, that means I'm gonna have to change. If like he does, if it is the laps that he got up into the top 4 in, I'm gonna have to change the writing I've just done.
Well,
Oh.
you can just add a note at the bottom saying so and so got disqualified, so and so moved up. But
Okay.
it depends how they if they delete the lap, then that definitely changes it. If they were giving him a penalty post session, then that would mean he might still make it through the duels. As there we go, we see Cassidy, Jeb, and Gunther setting some decent times. So Costa gets into the top 4 as well.
NATO.
So we got Frines 114.1. Oh, Bird sets a time just shy of it, 114.14. And then Jeb 114.3, Gunther 114.3, DaCosta 114.4.
I just keep keeping an eye on that race control messages. Like, is it gonna show? I'm really hoping that the lap that Buemi set to get into the top 4 was like lap 8 or lap 6 or something.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see it on the world covered, at least on the world feed coverage at the end of qualifying Group B. But,
That would
but
be
yeah,
helpful.
certainly. If you're Mahindra, Mortara might have already left the garage in frustration. They might be calling him back at this point, which I imagine would be quite funny. But yeah, Cassidy is definitely gearing up for another run here. Look how slow he's taking it. Just making sure there's plenty of gap in front of him.
It really is.
Because
Slow.
this is a push lap coming here. So Cassidy 6 seconds off the pace at the moment, but he is about to put that right because we saw with
Slowly
Evans
increasing.
that Jagger's got some latent pace. It's not too far behind the Porsches here.
There he is, increasing. And
Into the
ooh,
first corner he goes.
that was close.
Oh, they have to get. They always have to get so close to that wall at the apex, isn't it? From the pit lane, essentially, or the first corner is. So
In the race
as you
later,
cast
one
him
of them's
swing it
going
into
in.
turn 3. Frines is going purple in the middle sector, and gets cut off by Jake Hughes there at the Peraltada. So Frines will be a bit annoyed with that one. He's 74 thousandths off his fastest lap there. That was nearly a 113 for Robin Frines.
Oh, I can see the rain. In the
There's a lot of rain clouds about, yeah. We'll have to see if, what it's looking like ahead of the race, though, because or indeed in the drills if it's coming over quicker.
I think it might be
Cassidy
raining.
fastest in the first sector.
I think it might be raining in the race bit, but not much. But that depends.
Oh, I wonder if DaCosta has gone fastest in the first sector. It looks like NATO has come back out, and he's gone, just a 10th behind DaCosta here. Yeah, out the final corner comes Cassidy. This has got to be a big lap here, and we're hearing Sylvain Filippi, so I think it definitely sounds like Buemi has been had his best lap time to lead it. Cassidy goes fastest. He's in the 130.
In for the duels.
There we go. So it sounds like there was either a power spike or some sort of technical infraction. If it was to do with changing tyres, I'd be a bit worried about Norman Nato in this session because he seems to have done the exact same thing.
I think I shall make my amendments in blue.
DaCosta's second fastest, really quick in the middle sector, but a 10th off of Cassidy. Eighth fastest for Jake Dennis. That's not particularly strong for him. De Vries goes fourth fastest. Could well be two Mahindras in the duels here if they've got this right, but yeah, I wouldn't count out Robin Fryns going a bit faster here.
Yeah, he needs to. He doesn't want to have the same fate as Mortara nearly had. Speaking of,
we're seeing a replay. Is this Fryns being held up through the final corner by Jake Hughes? Yeah, so that's
caught behind Hughes.
Massive block here. Copy that. We report that.
Oh. Hughes could be in trouble for that one because he should have been warned from the Maserati race engineers that Fryns was coming up, and he just decided to start his lap and get his run up ready.
Oh, incident between cars 11 and 48. Degrassi and Mortara, no further action.
Degrassi escaped. I guess because he qualified so badly anyway, near the back, it doesn't really matter.
They were just like, oh, it doesn't matter.
Mortara's few of the duels anyway, because Romy got disqualified, so well, not disqualified, but he's got his lap deleted. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, one's in, one's out. Doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, we don't need to put the boot in. I'm not sure that's really how stewards think, but anyway, here's Sam Bird, desperate to get through to the duels for the first time this season, and Norman Nato behind, trying to do exactly the same. Nato currently slowest in this session, but just a 10th shy of the time that would get him ahead of Nick De Vries here. Oh, and he's been blocked by De Vries, funnily enough.
Ooh, third.
But, yeah, still good enough for third fastest, as the time is about to run out now on screen. And Sam Bird was gesticulating at De Vries. They seemed to, the camera sort of on your helmet shifted to the left. So he looked to the left and then put his middle finger, I think, up at Nick De Vries there. As we see, Nick Cassidy is, I think, going to end this session fastest unless someone behind is going quicker, but they don't seem to be at the moment.
That's good of them.
I don't think that's intentional. They're just struggling to get space on track, I think, everybody. But yeah, Gunther faster in the second sector. Really close, actually, to the pole time. And DaCosta is going quicker in the first sector.
I like DaCosta's livery.
The purple one, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, across the line comes Max Bean Gunther, fastest. He sets a brilliant final sector, 10th quicker than Nick Cassidy. And Jay Penske seems to be having what's the good version of an aneurysm? I don't know. But he's having it. Jake Dennis goes second fastest. There we go. That pushes John-Eric Verne out of the duels then. Cassidy's in the pits. The DaCosta's not going any quicker. Looks like Fryns has just missed out by 2/10. He was blocked again. Norman Nato is going to finish 11th, slowest in the session. So that's really disappointing for the second of our Nissans.
So it is, I'm guessing, Bird's just not.
Yeah, Porsche just survived. So they seem relieved more than anything else.
Let's hope nothing else comes up. Right, time to write down the new ones. And I have got the times in this for you this time.
Yeah. Might be a good idea to read the times here before they disappear, because we do also have a question in chat to cover.
Gunther is top with a time of 1:13.352. Dennis in second with 1:13.423. Cassidy third with 1:13.471. Fourth is DaCosta with a 1:13.491. Vern is fifth with 1:13.528. Sixth is Frines with 1:13.664. Third is seventh with 1:13.733. De Vries is 8th with 1:14.061. Hughes is 9th with a 1:14.134. Tixham is 10th with 1:14.288. And NATO is 11th with 1:14.389.
Yeah, there we go. I think Jeb just lost out there. So those laps from Dennis and Gunther were really bad for John Verne, because that meant he just missed out on the getting into the duels. But I think he's looking good for like a 9th or 10th on the grid, which is certainly not a terrible position to start from. But yeah, I think Norman Nato, the big disappointment there, last of everyone. And I sort of hoped for a little more from Dan Tickton, but it looks like the Cooper Kiro after one race weekend end already looks to be a little bit falling behind in the development race in terms of. I know Jaguar and Nick Cassie's been talking about how the Porsche is a better car than the Jaguar in terms of speed, and that they've got software developments that they're hoping on hardware stuff that's going to make a difference later in the season. But yeah, so it is interesting that Jaguar certainly. All the noises from that camp, despite winning the first race of the season, they sound like they're on the back foot. But I'm not sure that's necessarily going to bear out. But we'll have to see, because this is definitely should be a Porsche circuit. So the question from Joe Samaniego from the Grid Network is: any thoughts if it rains and a potential wet race with such high speeds and the high altitude of the track? Could be chaotic. I think
so.
Some of them, they had the experience from FP2. That should come in handy. We're not expecting heavy rain, which is a good thing, but I think it could just make it a little bit more lethal offline.
Yeah, just enough to make it an issue.
I think I'll be interested to see how attack mode works in sort of wet conditions, whether you can still go offline and make the overtakes even with less grip. I think it could be a big risk versus reward sort of situation.
Right, first up for Duel A is Evans and Roland. Right.
Right, I'll get the cars ready then.
Right. I'm just gonna write them down. Should I write them down already?
It should be Evans, Roland. We got Dennis DaCosta and Mortara Gunther. I think are.
Who knows?
First
Before we know, Buemi might just pop up again. Oh, Cassidy has lap 5 deleted.
Okay, that wasn't his fastest one, was it?
I hope not, because I'm not doing this again.
This is interesting that it's the Jaguar-powered cars that are getting laps deleted here.
They really are.
I wonder if there's anything to that it's maybe the unreliability of that package creeping in.
Could be. Cold. I love how I had the heater and I'm still cold. My phone was
maybe
so
you need
cold, it's gone down percentage like really fast.
Have you ever seen a film called Withnail and I? It's about these two struggling actors, one played by Richard E. Grant and one played by Paul McGann. And Richard E. Grant's character, Withnail, decides because the heating has failed and it's like January or February or something like that, it's like, I'm just going to cover myself in deep heat and try and stay warm until the pub opens.
Oh, I have to see this, especially if it's a great intelligence.
It's an amazing comedy written by... what's his name? The name's gone, but he's done a lot of fun things. Although it's probably one of his better movies, because he's done some other ones that are a little bit out there. But
I'll look it
anyway,
up.
it looks like...
See who...
Yeah, it looks like we are sort of still got a little bit of time before first of our semi-finals then. So I might... Bruce Robinson, that's the guy I'm thinking of. Bruce Robinson. Yeah, there's like so many really funny moments in that, like where they go on holiday by mistake into the countryside to try and get out of London because they're not getting any work and things like that working for them, and they have this very, very chaotic holiday where pretty much everything that can go wrong does go wrong, and it's very much a comedy of errors.
Sounds like some. Oh, I love that book. I love that. It sounds like definitely
Which book?
something. Comedy of Errors, Shakespeare.
All right. Okay.
It sounds like a movie I'd definitely really enjoy, and it's got so many like good names in it, like household
Yeah,
ones.
it's good.
It's like it's
Yeah,
even
big
got
actors.
Mr. Dursley in it.
Yeah,
Vernon
Richard Griffiths.
Dursley.
Yeah, in fact, it's one of my favorite Richard Griffiths roles as Uncle Monty, the sort of
He's always an uncle.
relative. He is, yeah. It seems that way. He's very he's very camp and very gay in that film, and it's wonderful to watch. It's like, oh, hello, do come in. And he has lots of interesting, colourful metaphors that he likes to use.
Okay, I've definitely got to put this on my list of things to watch. I generally have a list. Right now, there's about 57 things on it, and I'm determined to get them all done this year because I will spend all day.
I love it if you watch With No Lie, and then I keep making a load of references to With No Lie that you get, but Josh doesn't. That would be hilarious.
Okay, I have to watch this. I think it's on Channel 4 as well, and we have like that.
Oh, usually it's one of those Film 4 sort of things that get shown every now and then, whenever they're not showing, Back to the Future trilogy or something like that, as we see a replay of Bird being held up by De Vries. I'll be surprised if De Vries escapes punishment for that. But then again, I think Jake Hughes had a similar thing with his impediment as well.
He might get away with it, but as long as I don't have to change any more people's like timings, then I'm fine. With whoever goes where.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to see what the actual... I can't find the actual timings from qualifying with the penalties. So I'm pretty sure Cassidy, just with the one lap deleted, should be okay to make it through the duels.
Yeah.
Because I think lap 5 wasn't his quickest lap.
No, I think that was like lap 6 or something.
Yeah. But still, that to me is quite worrying, because that's the sort of thing you get a lap delete in qualifying, but if that sort of thing happens in the race, and you could have a drive-through penalty, and if you don't have red flags or safety cars to bail you out, that could be disastrous. Because that was exactly what happened to the Nissans in Sao Paulo. Like all 4 Nissan-powered cars had drive-through penalties, didn't they? It potentially cost Roland a shot at victory too.
The bad luck of being a Nissan.
True, but then again, the McLarens were able to fight their way through because they got their penalties out of the way early. So.
True. Just like, okay,
and it was also particularly to do with the actual start of the race when they were engaging the 4-wheel drive. It wasn't necessarily in sort of normal conditions that the issue popped up. So I would be more concerned about Jaguar's issues than in terms of reliability and sort of make sure the powertrain doesn't do anything it's not supposed to, than Nissan, where it's really only that start procedure that they seem to be slightly falling foul of, essentially, with the 4-wheel drive. Their 4-wheel drive was too good, essentially.
Right now, I'm just thinking how I have to do, like, where I'm putting all these things. I'm going to have to move everyone up one, because I'm pretty sure Buemi was right at the bottom before he set his fastest.
I think he was, yes. That's particularly costly for him.
Yeah.
Oh, it's showing Group B, and it's showing Vern instead of Nick Cassidy. So I think Cassidy did lose his best lap. So there we go.
Good
right.
day for people.
Sorry, gotta get. Yeah, so that really has put the cat on. I think first duel is still going to be Evans versus Roland, but that's a big blow for Buemi and for Nick Cassidy, who I think he's also going to be starting much lower down.
Race control. Nick Cassidy has had his lap deleted for a technical infraction. John Eric Byrne will go through to the duel.
Yeah. Nikki in the Formula E Zone chat says, my predictions went all bad. And he says at one point, he said, yes, I hope Degrassi gets disqualified when she thought he was under investigation. Which I kind of agree with. But I think blocking someone and then getting disqualified is maybe a bit harsh. But I guess if someone's near the back anyway, you're running out of ways to punish them. But yeah, Boemi we think might be starting at the very, very back. And Cassidy, I think Cassidy did set a banker lap, but I don't think it was anywhere near good enough for the top to start in the top 10. So yeah, I think Nick might be looking at sort of 16th on the grid.
I guess we'll find out later when the thing comes out. Yeah. Where everyone was.
In Sao Paulo, we did see Jaguar make their way through from the back of the field. So Cassidy, who I think qualified 10th in Sao Paulo as well, he might have to do it again, won't he? So Jaguars don't seem to make life easy for themselves.
They really don't.
Josh Birch asks, how's it going? How is it going, Meg? I think it's going all right so far. I'm excited for these duels because this is going to be the fun part where I get all the Lego cars out. So.
The drivers aren't having as great of a time.
No, they don't tend to be, are they?
No, they're just getting penalty after penalty. Well, technically. Replacement after replacement. Yeah. Deletion after deletion.
Nikki says, you know me, I'm always wanting things to go bad for Degrassi. Lady after my own heart. So, we can agree on that. I'm just sort of trying to check how the sim race that I'm supposed to be commentating on later is going, because all 5 classes there was like, I'm surprised any of the hypercars are still going, because the hypercars always seem to drop like flies. There we go. We've got confirmation of who's in the quarterfinals. It's Evans versus Roland in the first quarterfinal. Quarterfinal 2, Mortara versus Verline. Quarterfinal 3, DaCosta versus Dennis. Quarterfinal 4 is all DS Penske. It's Vern versus Gunther. So I don't know how I'm going to do that, because I've only got one DS Penske on me. So.
Just do it the same one.
I might have to get the spare car out and just put Jev in that one. Because he qualified lower down than Gunther, so he gets the spare car.
Now I have to put people up.
Right, so Evans versus Roland. This should be an interesting one, because these should be fairly evenly matched. They're both really good qualifiers with a number of poles to their name. But very rarely do you see Evans and Roland actually go against each other. I don't think it's happened in the duels too often.
No.
So who's your money on, Mitch Evans or Oliver Roland? I think I'm going to go for Oliver Roland, honestly.
Honestly, I was going to say the same. Seems to be doing a lot
there we
better.
go. We're both playing with the guy from Barnsley in Yorkshire over the New Zealander. Although, to be fair, my dad is a huge Jaguar fan because he drives one, so... I suppose I can sort of claim neutrality. It looks like Evans is going to be out first, so that means if they equal to 3 decimal places in terms of their lap times, it will be Evans that gets it by virtue of setting the times first. So, right.
Can only hope. Conditions now similar to FP1. Ooh, very nice.
Here they are. Sort of running out of cherry blossom on the Nissan is the only issue. And, of course, Jaguar with their strange sort of... there we go. They have had head-to-heads 2 times before, and Roland has won both of them. So, and the predictor vote's relatively close, but it's more in favour of Oliver Roland and Mitch Evans there.
Yeah, not looking too good for Evans.
True, but the Jaguar isn't too... He has won here before as well, whereas Oliver Roland has not. So, I don't know. If I'm Mitch Evans, I'd still be feeling quite confident.
Evans starts his lap. Coming out the pit lane.
This would be the out lap then, yeah. So, it's so important to get the preparation on, because they can't just do a push lap and then... cool down.
Exit the pits.
That was Roland saying exit the pits.
Well, he was Was he complaining about Evans's exit of the pits, or just saying I'm about to exit the pits?
I can't tell. I think he was just saying I'm about to exit.
Yeah, I think so. But it would sort of make sense. Look at the way he's soaring at the wheel to try and build temperature as well. That is interesting. Yeah, Evans is going to be under pressure because he is the championship leader, having won in Sao Paulo. So he making it to the duels is only really half the battle. If you want to start in that sort of top 4, you need to make it to the semi-finals, and that means he's got to go through Oliver Rowland here. So
gotta win it.
he is, yeah, got to win it to be in it. But yeah, Mitch Evans is, as I say, under a lot of pressure here, and Oliver Rowland. He is sort of with no real points to his name so far this season. He's just going to be able to go hell for leather. Whereas Evans, I wonder, that might be playing in the back of his mind. But anyway, he's starting his lap now. Full power, full-wheel drive, purple lights on. Into the first corner he goes. Looks solid so far for Mitch Evans.
Evans might actually have a chance given I saw Rowland going quite hesitantly round that stadium corner.
But that was the warm-up lap, essentially, from the pits as he struggles to get it turned in, but gets a decent exit there, Rowland. But it is half a temp slower then, so Evans with the early advantage. But let's see if Oliver Rowland and that Nissan can fight back here.
It's getting longer and longer the gap. But,
Ooh. Evans has pulled about 3 tenths, so I think Oliver Rowland has made some sort of error into turn 3.
I don't think he's comfortable
very
with
slight. Evans almost brushes up against the wall, and that's the beauty of them going against each other up at the same time, is that there's a little delay between if Rowland makes a mistake, Evans won't hear about it until a bit later, but in fact, Evans getting so close to the wall may have cost him ever so slightly because he's now neck and neck with Rowland, who's caught him down the straight here.
Yeah, Rowland's now ahead, and it looks like it's going Rowland's way now. Evans is going to kick himself.
Yeah, here we go. Towards the line. What's it going to be for Mitch Evans? A 1:11.3 then. So that's fastest than we've seen so far with that extra power. But Rowland is going even quicker through the peloton. He just needs to keep it in a straight line and not lose control here. And he's done it. Right, that was impressive then. Let's see if we can see the lap time. Yeah, it's not showing on the actual duel thing because it's already switched to Mortara versus Verline. So yeah, I'm assuming that was like a must have been a very low 111 if it was one. Might have even been a 110 there.
Yeah. Oh, Rowland.
This is a lap.
And he knew that was happening.
I can't show the rest of it because someone was speaking over it.
I was a very confident man there. This is a lap, he said. As now we're going to see Mortara versus Verline. And they've both gone head-to-head 2 times in the past. 4 times, sorry. So it's half of them have gone to Mortara, half of them have gone to Verline. As it's Mortara that gets going first.
And yet, Verline is favoured.
Yeah, you got to say, Verline has won in Mexico, but Mortara has had some good quality. Has been on pole here before, and finished the runner-up as well. And that Mahindra is certainly the underdog in this situation because the Porsche has been working really well. Look, half a second faster already just after the first corner. So that shows you the superiority of Pascal Verline's Porsche powertrain. And Eduardo Mortara, I think, has done well to make it to the duels, given everything that was going on in the group session with Buemi losing his lap time.
Yeah, and Verline's just annihilated.
Yeah, but in a way, not surprising. So you've got to be, from Mahindra's point of view, yeah, Verline's almost the second clear now. This is looking like a 7th or 8th on the grid for Eduardo Mortara. So for them, that's still solidly in the points. So I think they'll take that. But for Porsche, they've got their sights set a bit higher on pole position.
He's just that little bit closer there now to where he was before. He was coming in by a second. No, 10.
12.5. 12.5 is the lap, but I think we're about to see another 111 from Pascal Verline, and it's a 111.6. There we go.
Not surprising at all.
Right, I'm going to hurriedly swap out Pascal for Antonio for the next duel. As Jake Dennis, I think, is about to get going. Right. This should be interesting. Same powertrain coming up with these two as we see a replay of Pascal Verline clobbering the curbs at the chicane.
Verline?
Okay, you through, mate, you through. Keep working your tires for temp. Keep working the tires for
Yeah, Mortara. Oh, he had to go a little bit on the grass and get out of the power at turn 1, and that was why he lost half a second immediately.
Just lost the lap start.
So that makes
Yeah, here we go then. So, 1-1 between Jake Dennis and Antonio Felix da Costa. What do you reckon, Megan?
I'm gonna say Dennis.
Okay, I think da Costa will get this on. Oh, in fact, da Costa doesn't have a great turn 1, as I immediately say that. So I guess Jake Dennis, who has been almost on pole here before, he lost out to Degrassi in the season 9, but then went on to easily beat Degrassi in the race. So, yeah. I guess Jake Dennis feeling confident here, but da Costa actually still slightly faster after the first corner. So the factory Porsche still just ahead over the Andretti Porsche, but of course they've got the same powertrain, same software. This is all down to the drivers.
Okay, Dennis is catching. He's catching slowly. Hopefully quicker within the next.
This could well be the closest outside of our two DS Penskes in the next session, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dennis being dropped ever so slightly, but it's all just really nail-biting stuff then as da Costa goes through the long Peraltada, the final corner, and he's pulled the temp clear. There we go. So Dennis has got it all to do in this final sector.
Speed up! Don't go so slowly in that sector. What is
11.2 for da Costa. That's the time to beat then, and Dennis is losing more time. He's 3 tenths down. I think it's da Costa going through, so I went against Megan and I got lucky here.
Really, da Costa? Really?
Hey, don't be angry at Antonio. Be angry at Jake. He didn't do a good enough job.
111.740.
Jeez.
Okay, right. So, could be interesting if the final is da Costa versus Wehrlein, what Porsche will do there, because they have had that situation before, and they've tended to favour one driver over the other, as we see a replay then. Next up, John-Eric Verne versus Gunther.
Went through. Good job, mate. Good job. 4, almost 5 tenths ahead.
Right, here we go then. 1-1 between these two then, Gunther and John-Eric Verne. Tough to call. I think I would slightly favour Maximilian Gunther. Oh, but the predictor has gone against me. What do you reckon, Megan? Okay, let's see what happens. Jeff gets to go first.
The predictor says it's Verne, so I'm going to trust.
The first corner goes Jev. Neat and tidy so far. But Max Gunther about to start his lap then. And these two pretty evenly matched. Jev the more experienced. Maxi Gunther probably has had a better qualifying more recently. I think Jev did take a pole last season, but Gunther has probably had a little bit more success with the Maserati team in terms of taking a couple of wins. So Jev's taken the 1 win at Hyderabad. 2 tenths clear is John-Eric Verne after the first sector there.
Looks like
So Maxi Gunther. Yeah, Gunther not too far behind, but yeah, these two, there certainly doesn't seem to be any team orders at play here.
Which is good. Most
very good.
And is that gap going to increase? It does. By about, I think that was about 400.
Yeah. This could be really close if Gunther nails his final sector. Jeb, pushing it really fast through the Peraltada though. 111.1. That is a really quick lap actually from Jeb.
Have they got
Yeah,
it yet?
I got to say, it's not looking good for Gunther here. Maybe 6 to 1, half a dozen. He's catching a little bit because he didn't slide as much through the Peraltada, but he's still going to be 3 tenths down. And that's Jeb that makes it through to the semi-final. So let's put Jeb in the actual DS Penske that I have rather than the spare car.
He's the main one now.
Yeah, the spare car I have is just an old Apt Cupra that I had lying around. So. But yeah, nonetheless, I think there wasn't really a way for DS Penske to lose in that scenario because one of the guys is making it through no matter what.
Yeah, either
so there
way,
we go.
if they were winning.
It's going to be our 2 semi-finals in a Roland versus Wehrlein and da Costa versus Verne then. So you've got to say that first one is going to be tantalizing because if Roland loses to Wehrlein, we could well be looking at an all Porsche final.
The Costa v Verne one will be interesting.
True. I have a feeling could be close. Vern does seem quite hooked up here, but DaCosta, I think, might be able to find something, pull something out of the bag here when he needs it. But I have to say, DS have done a really good job of upping their pace, because at the beginning of Season 9, they were pretty much nowhere, and now they're really able to punch with the big boys in these sort of qualifying sessions, and pole is a much more realistic possibility weekend in, weekend out.
There's the confirmation of a Verline v Roland and Acosta v Vern. And the commentary box is finally warming up slightly, though I'm going to have this again later on in the race, where it's just gone really cold.
Yeah. I've still got to shut my curtains, but I don't want to like just leave the chair empty on camera, so I'm going to wait till quali ends. And immediately after quali, I'll go back into my sim commentary, so no rest for the wicked. I don't know why I added a Jonathan Ross style W in there into the word rest. No west for the wicked, only east.
You should tell the Wizard of Oz.
Oh, we got an interview of Evans here.
Ooh.
Lap time getting deleted. Were there any changes or concerns that had to be made from your side of the garage as well?
No, I mean, we couldn't really react that quickly. It was a bit of a surprise, obviously. I think Seb had the same thing, so yeah, bit of a concern. It's a real shame for those guys. So, but yeah, luckily, you know, I got away with it, whatever it was, so yeah.
Thank you, Mitch. Appreciate it.
Seems like the drivers don't know, which definitely says to me that's a Jag-specific problem. It's not something that the drivers are doing.
Yeah. It's definitely their problem.
Yeah. All right.
Curious, is it getting
So,
dark?
of the four that are left, who do you reckon is going on pole then, Megan?
I'm gonna say Roland.
Ooh, brave call. I feel it's going to be Verline. I'm feeling that Verline can beat DaCosta or Vern, whoever he... As long as he beats Roland, I can beat DaCosta and Vern. I think this is going to be the crucial one now.
Aren't they
But
facing
yeah,
each
Evan's
other?
standing a bit disappointed there in that interview, even though he's looking good to start in the top 6, top 5 maybe, depending on how this how the times shake out, I guess.
Aren't they facing each other as well next? So either way, we'll know which one of us was wrong in the next one, and then one of us
That's
will have
true,
to pick
yeah.
a new one.
Yeah, it could well be that Vern takes pole and we're both wrong, but it could be quite funny.
Knowing our luck, yeah, it will be.
Yeah, let's see what people are saying in the chat. Mitch is starting P5, says Owen Hintermare, so that does make sense. What happened to Andretti, says Nikki. I think Jake just didn't get the tires heated up quickly enough, or I didn't quite get the lap together against DaCosta. So I'm pretty sure Jake is starting either 6th or 7th behind Mitch Evans. In fact, I should probably get my grid ready for later on. I've got like my old McLaren and Aston Martin set from last year, including the safety car, of course. But I've got them just lying in the middle of the Formula E field, which is horribly unrealistic. But anyway. I'm excited. The one problem with this dual format is that you've got to fill a lot of time, but
You do.
especially the gap between the semis, the gap between the quarterfinals and the semis, and then the semis to the final, always feels like agonizingly long.
Yeah, they're always just so long.
Got 5 minutes until semis, and then
5
gap
minutes?
between semis and final is 10 minutes.
Oh my goodness. It really is like extremely long time.
Yeah, and we're not interesting enough to fill that time.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you are, Megan. I don't think I am.
I mean, I'm not sure whether people would be interested in like the things I do, so like writing, art, and criminology.
Okay, I mean, it's a bit of an arson, murder, and jaywalking trio there, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right. How am I looking for?
There's also reading in the mix, so I guess it is quite a varied mix of interests. I And if you throw Star Wars
Right.
into the mix, then it just gets really crazy.
Ugh.
I have such varied interest in shows. That's what I have learned.
That's good. That's good to see there.
Mm.
Because then, if everyone watched the same shows, it would be fun in a way, but also you miss that sort of variety. But anyway, just looking at the Daytona 12 hours that I'm commentating on. Yeah, still 168 laps completed, 7.5 hours left to go. I'm probably gonna have to leave in about 20 minutes or so to go fill in over there. But
So I'll probably... You might just make it to the end of this, given we only have a few
yeah, I
minutes
think
left.
3 minutes past is when it was scheduled to end, so that would work out okay for me.
Yeah.
As we're about to have an interview with Eduardo Mortara here.
Ooh, that's all the time.
I struggled with braking during that lap. Effectively, it was not good. But the group phase was actually slightly better. We managed to go through, which is always something positive. Now we just need to keep on working and try to extract more performance out of the car.
And no further action on the impeding with Degrassi. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I don't know. There is a rule. It seems that a few cars. I've got nothing against Lucas, and I saw like a few cars actually impeding. We just need to make sure that we're not in the way of the others. Like when you're completing a lap. For me, it didn't add any impact. For others, probably more. Yeah, I think that we just need to go with the rules that we have here.
Thank you so much, Edo. Best of luck. Hi, Max.
Oh, and another one.
Your teammate in the first round of the Jules. What happened on that lap?
Nothing really. Lap was good. Jeff's lap was better, so well done to him. I lost some time in the first half of the lap, it seems. Yeah, I wasn't quite confident for my front axle, but you know, like it's fine margins here. So really happy with our effort. Great result for the team. Both cars through to the duels. Let's see what Jeff can do now. And yeah, very happy with our effort in this qualifying.
Thank you so much, Max.
Right, about to go to the first of the semi-final duels.
It is just starting to get dark, so apologies for that. I decided to finally turn the light on, shut the curtains.
Well, I have no idea what it's like outside the commentary box. I'm imagining it's gotten dark. I spent most of the daylight here.
Here we go. So, Verline versus Roland. And it looks like the past form and the predictive rate is going overwhelmingly with Pascal Verline here.
It might be wrong.
So I'm going to stick with that.
Roland is second in the thing.
Yeah.
See, I say everything's...
Yeah. I suppose, given that conditions are so similar, it's more an advantage to go out first, if anything, because it means if it comes down to you set the exact same time, you get the advantage.
Well, that's good for you then, isn't it?
That's adequate for the quality. We will on edge.
Quite.
Your choice gets
We'll be quite on edge, and then Roland says you don't need to say that.
It's like this could have just been a text. Or just not at all.
Can you just tell me that afterwards, that everything's really risky and we might crash? Because then I don't have to think about that now.
It's
Yeah,
like,
Pascal's
great.
definitely winning this now.
Put that into my mind just as I'm about to try and get into the finals.
Yeah, this is a big lap for him. Of course, he did get into the finals in Sao Paulo, just missed out to Pascal Verline, so now he's up against Pascal again. I think he lost to on that occasion. And Pascal, gearing up for his lap here, you got to say, he just loves this place. He's looking imperious, the reigning champion. All right, into the first corner he goes. Hooks up the apex, just avoids the wall jutting out at him. And starts that flying lap. Looking all neat and tidy and under control from Pascal Verline so far. Here's Oliver Roland.
Roland seems to be making good time. not as close to that barrier that they all seem to nearly
Yeah,
hit.
he didn't quite take as many risks as Verline did into turn 1 there, and that's a big area where you can gain time early in the lap.
Well, that's
but
because
it's not the
he
only
was just
place.
told he might crash. They put it into his
Yeah.
head.
Exactly.
Why?
You'd be surprised how much of a mental game, especially qualifying, can be. In the races, sometimes you're told to do stuff by the team, and it's like quite helpful in terms of making sure you don't run out of energy before the flag. But in qualifying, it's like, look, this is down to me. Let me get on with it. And Roland now always caught up significantly through that chicane, though.
They're
As we
trying
see
to
Verline.
psych Roland out.
Verline, I wonder if he saw how ahead he was and then got complacent at that point. And he's actually struggling a little bit for traction through the Ferrosol. This could be
Roland's
really
ahead.
close. Roland pulling slightly ahead by about a tenth now. Verline has crossed the line. Ooh. And the timing screen has died. Server stopped responding.
Verline's ahead.
Right. Here we go. Verline through the Peraltada has just breezed it back in his favor, and it's going to be 0.182 in favor of Pascal Verline. There we go. Yes. Nicely done, Pascal. It's a shame I do like
I hadn't had the radio mic on at all then.
Oh, and dead silence from the Nissan pit, so clearly they are gutted with that one because they thought they could steal it from Pascal Verline.
I hoped. They shouldn't psych their drivers out beforehand then.
Well, what if he'd hit the wall? He would have felt really bad about not telling them that.
But at least he would have had hope. And the faith in him.
I think the problem is that Pascal Verline is just dynamite around here, so it was always going to be a bit of a tricky job. If he can still get third on the starting grid, that's something to fight for at least. So we'll have to see how Vern and DaCosta go. Vern has actually beat DaCosta 4 times, but DaCosta has got the better car here, it must be said.
Right, so I'm going to change my one.
4. To the first corner goes Antonio.
Knowing me, my one
And
will go
a little bit scruffy. He's taking quite a few risks through the first couple of corners. But just to avoid, there's a little bit of grass thrown up there, but nothing too dramatic. Now here comes John-Eric Verne.
I'm going to go with
as
Verne.
he gets ready for the first corner. Oh, I'm going to stick with DaCosta for this one. But yeah, pretty even so far as they try and get the footage matched up. It looks like Jev slightly behind, actually, after turns 2 and 3.
Darn it, yours is ahead again.
There we go. Oh, and DaCosta pulling well clear, although he does have a bit of a moment out of the hairpin. Just as he struggles to get the traction laid down on the tarmac.
Can I change
But
my
yeah,
answer?
that's... You can if you want. Oh,
No, I
there we
should-
go.
oh, wait, maybe not.
But Jeff has actually caught up a bit.
Knowing
4
me,
thousandths
he won't.
between the two. This is going to be inch close between these two as they get to the line. And DaCosta takes a very narrow line into the Ferrosol.
Not again.
Whereas Jeff is able to carry a little bit more speed. Let's see if it helps with the exit, though.
Not again. The same happens every time. They catch up
And
and then
DaCosta
they
pulling
fall.
clear. Yeah, at the high-speed stuff, the Porsche just seems really planted, doesn't it? As DaCosta then towards the line he comes. Or 110.9 for Jev, but DaCosta is into the 110.7s there.
I just can't win today.
Oh, it's okay. You're not the regular commentator, Megan. So
Yeah, I don't know them well
you're not
enough.
expected to win. You've got an excuse to not win.
Exactly. Both who have started first have won. That seems to be a theme today. The only one who hasn't is, I think, Roland.
So I think
earlier
Jev
on.
is starting third then, ahead of whoever lost Roland, wasn't it?
I'm gonna go with
Because
Verne.
I don't think Roland got
No,
the
wait.
110s.
I don't know who to choose.
DaCosta's celebrating.
I think I shall choose Verline. So, going with your option. You seem to win all the time anyway, so I'm just going to trust
Okay.
you watch DaCosta will win it.
Yeah, I think I might stick with Verline as well. Yeah, DaCosta is no slouch whatsoever. A 10.7, he really pulled it out of the bag when he needed it to. I can't remember what Verline's time was, though, in that. I think it was he was like a tenth or two off of DaCosta's time there.
So cold.
I think Verline sort of made a mistake early on in that lap against Roland, didn't he? So that was why it was so close.
That could be why.
Right, I better get the spare car out.
It's gotten colder here. Hold on, I'm just gonna check the temperature.
It's gotten darker, so that does track, Megan. Surprisingly.
What? It's 0 degrees here, and at 5, which is in 9 minutes, it will be -1.
Well, it's 9 minutes away from 5 o'clock, I think.
It'll be so cold, but it feels like -2 apparently.
You guys need a fan heater. Oh, DaCosta.
Look at this with DaCosta down
I've
the pit
got
lane.
one.
Bit of weaving going on here.
2 tenths.
I've got one. It's
Okay.
by my feet, but
We had
it's only
our
warming my feet.
conservatory back in the day. We had a very loud fan heater.
I'm just gonna turn the heater
Or
on
it became
when
an
I get
extent.
inside. We have a new heater, well, a boiler, which means we have like a new dial for the heating system, so it's fun to play with that. Because it's digital now, so
Shouldn't
you
play
get
with
to see-
fire.
But I wanna.
Yeah, that's what every arsonist, that's how they all start out, playing with the heating. Oh, it's a bit chilly today. And then all of a sudden they're burning stuff down willy-nilly.
Well, if you wanna be warmer.
Hey, it works. You can say it's not a long-term solution, but it works.
Yeah. I mean, it's questionable, but... so cold. So...
I don't want to be rude, Megan, but if this half of this commentary is just you moaning about how cold it is, I feel like
Then
that's not
it's an
very
accurate
helpful to
commentary.
the. I know. No,
Who
I'm
else
not
is
saying
cold?
it's inaccurate. I'm saying that it's the same information being presented to people.
Well,
It has
I'm on
nothing
an
to do with the
advert.
Mexico City E-Prix.
Well, I'm on an advert. I don't know what else to say. They're probably cold as well.
I'm here to help. That's all I'm saying. Right. And we get confirmation from Owen. Jev did set a quicker time than Roland, so Jev does start ahead of Oliver Roland in third position on the grid. Nikki says it's cold here too.
Yay!
It's
Someone
cold
else shares
everywhere
my feet,
in the
shares
UK.
my pain.
Welcome to January. Welcome to 2025.
Adam's
It's
just
cold.
said hi from cold and snowy North Carolina.
It reminds me of Groundhog Day, where like there's that sequence where Bill Murray gets really tired of waking up on the same day in like February, and is like he starts like he knows the radio message that plays whenever his radio alarm clock starts, and he says "Rise and shine," like he's like saying it in a really monotone voice, like "Rise and shine, campers. It's cold. Better wrap up warm because it's cold outside today. It's cold outside every day." It's just-
Final start in 4 minutes.
4
Right,
minutes.
okay.
That 6 minutes went fast. Most of it was just me complaining about the temperature.
And then me complaining about Megan constantly complaining about it being cold.
And then me saying other people feel the cold too.
Are there any non-Christmas songs about it being cold? Like, oh, goy, it's nippy today. It doesn't. I don't think there are.
I know there's a
That
song
many.
called that is named "So Cold." But I don't remember what it's about. I think Katy Perry sings it.
All right, it's probably about a man.
Probably.
Um,
In fact, I think it
oh,
is.
we might have some interviews. We might have some interviews before the final starts. Then, so let's see if anyone on the world feed
Oh, there's also
wants to talk to John Byrne or Oliver Roland.
there's also a song called "Hot and Cold" by Katy Perry. The only ones I know of by Katy Perry for some reason. I can't think of any other ones for some reason. Right, here's the interview.
Here we are, interview.
Yeah, it wasn't good enough. I should
really?
have easily beaten him, so I'm disappointed in myself. The car was good enough to fight for pole, and I just let the team down in the last sector with a really bad last 3 corners.
Where do you think it was in the last sector? Was there an issue or anything?
I made a mistake. I ran wide out of 16, and then I picked up a lot of dirt on the tyres, and I lost 2-3 tenths in the last corner.
Thank you, Oliver. Jeff, from not making it into the duels to now starting on the second row of the grid. What a 20-30 minutes you've just had.
That was good. I mean, I got a bit lucky, but you know, I guess you need a bit of luck sometimes. So at least it's good that we make the most out of it. We did a good qualifying, starting third in the race. I think it's, yeah, I'm quite happy with how it went.
And both DS Penske's into the dual stages. In front of the boss, must be pleased with the progress the team's making.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's, you know, it's the right direction, but we got the points at the end of the race. So, you know, we have to stay focused and deliver a good race.
Thank you so much, Jeff.
Right, back to us.
Well,
Right.
he says points to the end of the race. There are 3 points for pole position here that either Verline or DaCosta's going to be awarded. So Jeff's not technically correct there, but at least pedantic, because most of the points, the vast majority of them, are going to be awarded in the race. So.
Race control cars are entering fast lane.
Woohoo!
Well, that means we won't have to fill quite so much anymore.
Yeah. We can just immediately go off there and get into a warmth.
You know, we really sound professional when you say things like that, mate. All right. Reminder of everything that's happened so far. So Verline, DaCosta make it to the final after beating Roland and Verline, and of course Dennis and Mortara before then.
And now Verline and DaCosta are up. And I think it's about to go down to them starting their warm-up lap. And here's a radio mic. So it's looking more likely for DaCosta in the, like, it seems with the predictive votes say opposite.
Not on the predictive vote.
Predictive vote
Well,
says
the
one
predictive
thing,
vote
the other thing
knows
says the other.
how good Pascal Verline is. Here they are. I didn't really have time to redo the spare car to turn it into a Porsche, so it's a sort of Franken car. But yeah, the good thing about it is because it can sit a bit lower, because I made the cockpit a bit lower on those ones. So it gets a nicer view.
If it
Poor
helps,
Pascal.
Verline is starting first.
Oh, pole position, Paul Pavor, it says on the halo of Pascal's car. It's almost like they knew this was going to happen. Pole position, please. And then Antonio Felix DaCosta's one says, no, senor. Oh, it says Racing La Vida Loca. Okay. I guess you got to have it ready for all scenarios.
I'm tired as well, so that's not. I slept so long.
Well, I mean, this is probably not a good point to fall asleep, because this is the most exciting part of the qualifying session, the bit that determines who actually gets pole position and the 3 points that come with it.
Yeah, I'll just nap now. It's too cold to get some sleep.
Oh my god, change the bleeding record. This is Mexico. Nobody wants to hear about how cold it is in your shed, Megan.
It's a garage. It's.
I don't care what you call it.
Shed would be cool.
Anyway, here comes Pascal Verline. This is going to be one of his most important laps of the weekend, and it could well decide whether he starts on pole and gets 3 points, or if he starts in second. Into the first corner he goes.
Verline better win.
Oh, risky. Just about had it turned in time there, and that really nails down the benchmark for Antonio Felix DaCosta.
Starting
Of course,
lap.
Porsche could play this conservative and tell DaCosta to back off and bank second position, but I'm not sure they will, as DaCosta gets a lot more over the curb there. He's slightly behind Verline, but two purple Porsches are going to be neck and neck, and it's DaCosta actually that's slightly ahead.
Really?
At the moment, yeah.
So we both picked Verline.
He went a little wide through the hairpin for DaCosta, so Verline should be able to catch back up here.
Either way, their team is having a great day.
Yeah, they got two cameras, one on the mechanics and one on the team management. Oh, Verline pulled 3/10 clear, so DaCosta going a little wide out of turn 3. That really cost him there.
Where did that come from?
Oh, he's pulling even more. This is the Pascal Verline Mexican special juice or whatever he's been drinking whenever he goes here.
You watch Red Bull.
Right, surely Pascal's got this.
I hope so.
Well, you know, Nissan have got their own energy drink. We talked about it in FB1 yesterday. But big swipe for the cost. Actually got up near the end, but it's not enough. Pascal Wehrlein takes pole position for Mexico City E-Prix.
Well, at least I got something extra.
Wow.
Pascal Wehrlein asked nicely for pole position. They in pole position, por favor, and they just turned around and went C.
We mentioned that before.
Pole position. Brilliant job. 1/10 quicker.
We mentioned that.
Oh, look at the grandstand. They've got like a cardboard cutout of Pascal's face and the German flag that they're waving. But wow, that was really a good lap from Pascal Wehrlein. Da Costa made a good go of it, but it was that one mistake into turn 3, I think, that cost him a shot at pole there.
Wehrlein?
Position, mate. Very well. Pole position. Brilliant job. 1/10 quicker.
Again? Wehrlein.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh. Alright, so here's a replay of Wehrlein during the fast lap shootout.
It was a 1:10.9 by Pascal Wehrlein, by the way, so...
Jeez.
Not quite squeezed the 1:10.7, but under pressure, he delivered when it mattered.
Right. Just gonna write down all the people.
I have to say, Porsche locking out the front row puts them in a really strong position going into the race.
It does.
We will have to see if the Jaguar's energy saving comes into play. I definitely wouldn't count out Roland or Evans at this phase. Not even Jake Dennis, maybe, even though Dennis didn't really hook things together in qualifying. He's still looking at maybe 6th or 7th on the grid, which means he's definitely in play. Cassidy, though, he's got the biggest job to do from near pretty much the back of the grid with Boemi as well. So that could be quite fun times getting into the points here for even the top cars. There's the big drift from Da Costa.
Da Costa?
Broken on my rear right. It's
Oh.
super noisy, and the understeer I have is insane. Super noisy rear right.
So could they fix that in the time between now and the race?
Yeah, I might well have to do so. Right, I might have to head off, Megan. So is there anything you want to ask me before I leave?
Well, we can end the thing now if you want. I mean, I don't think anything else is happening.
All right, well, I mean, Pascal Wehrlein takes pole. All Porsche front row, but yeah, Porsche looking to control the race, but with attack mode being so powerful, I think Roland, Evans, they could be big factors here. So, yeah, plenty to look out for once we get going in about 3 hours' time for the race.
Yeah, it will be a very interesting race, I think, especially if there is a threat of rain. And I think that's it, really.
Yeah, well, it's been a pleasure to commentate alongside you, Megan, and thanks for your help. And I guess we'll see Josh and Jess joining me for the E-Prix in a couple hours' time. I've got to head off now because I've got to go to my commentary stint for the sim race immediately. So I'm going to love you and leave you, and see you soon.
Bye-bye. Right, thank you to Ed and JT for helping throughout the, well, being here during the commentary, and it's, well, listening to my complaints about the weather. Right, so the race is in, as I said, about 3 hours time, so please do join us for that. And I do believe that Joshua has something going on soon, or even now, I haven't checked, with him being at Autosport. I'm not sure, though either way, join at 8 for the, like, 8 time it is in Britain.
Yes, 7:30 p.m. for the broadcast GMT, 8 p.m. Is when we start the race.
Join us then.
With the formation laps, yeah.
Thank you. Join us then for the Formula E Mexico City Grand Prix. Thank you. Goodbye.